Howdy. So now we're going to start the process on doing the S14.9 conversion on my S14. Now that I got some of the parts off from our S15, but I'm going to have to cut off a few things to make it work. So for example, for the new fenders, I have to cut this little tab off here because for the origin kit that I had on before with the S14 fenders, this is in the way. And for the rear, we are going to have to cut off this back section here. So all of this is going to be gone, and the new rear shell is going to basically replace that. Then we'll be able to start mounting the rear bumper along with the over fenders and then the side skirts, and then from there I'll have my fabricator come out to add a little bit more reinforcement to it so it's a little bit more sturdy. So this is the front fender. As you can see, it'll line up with the A-pillar and the door, but because of this tab, you can't go anywhere else. So I got to get rid of that, and then I'll be able to start mounting it.
New toy.
Old toy. Resurfaced. I test fitted it after cutting off that little tab, so I got to get rid of this, and then after that I can start seeing where the holes line up or where I need to make the holes so I can get it bolted on. I'm gonna make it holy now so I can bolt it, so we can bolt it on finally. But luckily, so the 2F kit, everything is made for it to go on an OEM body. So the holes basically line up where the OEM holes are, which is nice. So I can just use what's already there. So right now we're just gonna use these two holes. Eyeball for the win. Okay, let's see. See if I picked it up. No, I think we're okay. I think it's fine for now. So I got the fenders mocked up. They're bolted in where I want them to be. We pre-test fitted the hood to make sure the gap was fine, but I'm gonna go ahead and mount that next. There are a couple spots that I do have to adjust. So for example, right here on the fender, I have to jumble this back just a little bit just so I can get that gap a little bit nicer. And the same thing where it meets the A-pillar. But for the most part, I mean, it fits pretty solid. So let's keep moving. Okay, so we just finished cutting the first holes for the front of the hood. Obviously this hood was already cut up. The hood was already cut. So we got it pretty close to where it is, so when we put the finisher on top of it, it'll cover the old holes that were cut into it. So we're gonna get the front part of the hood lined up first, and then I'm gonna mark where I want the rear of the hood's pins to be. Awkward. We got the front holes lined up. This is a generic spot or height that we're gonna put the front pins on. I need to make a spacer so I can raise the hood to the right height that I want it. But for the back, I'm gonna utilize these factory holes here. I'm either gonna tap into it or I'll bolt the studs in. But I'm going to measure backwards 4 inches, and then when we put the hood on, I'll be able to measure forward onto the hood, and that'll give me the general point of where the hole needs to go for the rear pins. So we're gonna do that now, and then hopefully it's in the right spot. Do one of these. We got the rears in. Now we just got to put the hood on and adjust the height, and that's pretty much done. Not too bad, wasn't too bad. So ended up having to just drill these holes out, and just use the nut and bolt that it comes with, and it's pretty simple. Hey, hey. So we got the hood on. It took entirely way too long for me, but we got it mounted where I wanted it to. We just have to make a couple adjustments so I can get the pins in a little bit smoother, but this is it. It's permanent spot. I think it looks fine. Definitely looks better on this car. A little bit more Mad Maxy right now, but I think it looks fine. Whoa, okay. All right, so we got the hood in its final resting place. I think it came out pretty good. But now that that's over with, I'm gonna move on to the back end of the car. Gonna have to basically cut this section out to remove this whole rear portion. So then that way I can start bolting on the rear clamshell for the S15 rear. Then once that's on, I'll work on getting the taillights in and then work on getting the rear bumper mounted. So I gotta figure out where to ground this for the taillights. Probably to that bolt. We'll figure that out when we get there. Cleanest way to do this without cutting too much off. Yeah. Let me get this side really quick. Cause you see like this here, right? Goes up to this inner portion. So technically you would cut out there, but I want to keep all that just to have it a little bit more rigid. Yeah. So what I'll probably end up doing is cutting it along here up until this point. So then I'll retain all of this and then have it mounted to the body like that. So basically like a hybrid, like over fender and then having the rest of it on. So it'll be a little something like that. But I'll cut it off and kind of see what it looks like from there. Let's see. Yikes.
No going back.
It is for sale. I don't know. For sale.
With the taillights.
With the tail lights. Yikes. Where do I put it? I'll put it over here. Ugh. Oh, hooray. All right, so it was a little bit of a trial and error. So we got the rear on, finally. We got it in a pretty good spot. We were able to actually reuse the old bolt mounting points that the over fenders are on. And then once everything is exactly where I want it, hardware-wise, then I'll go back and start cleaning up the fiberglass so all the alignment areas look a little bit cleaner, a nicer transition. But now we're going to get the trunk mounted, and then I'm going to get the taillights put in. And after that, once the taillights are in, then I'll work on the rear bumper and get that squared away. Once the rear bumper's done, then I'm going to move on to the side skirts and then the front bumper, and we're pretty much done. So had a little bit of a time skip. As you can see, a lot of the car is kind of together right now. I kind of stayed a little bit late last night and finished up what I could. Right now the front bumper is kind of sitting where I want it to. I need to mount the headlights so then that way I can get everything bolted up properly. But I got a majority of the rear end done. The trunk skin's on, the rear clam is bolted, the tail lights are in. I mean, honestly, it was all pretty straightforward since I had bracketry there from the rear overs and I just reutilized whatever was there. And then I just did some quick connects for the trunk, so that way it's easy on and off. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much gonna end us there for today. And then on the next one, we'll be continuing putting the body panels on, which will be mounting the side skirts, the rear bumper, and hopefully get the headlights and the front bumper mounted. So, till then.